So yeah, man. Once again, welcome, and thank you for actually giving your busy time with us, and especially our the bar that we met first time. Actually, it's the first time we met here. First time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, in the
I
airport.
think. No, it was definitely. I think it was here
It was
actually.
here, right?
It was
Yeah.
definitely here first.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah, almost more than 3, 4 years
Yeah,
ago.
more
Yeah,
than
actually.
3 years, man. We still young. I don't know about you, but I'm
Oh.
still young.
I still feel young, so thank you so much. Yeah.
So I think what I wanted to know, and then what I think what people wanted to see, like how you guys, as I mean, we're gonna mention in our post that what you do and what you usually. I mean, you're a busy person,
Oh, sure.
but yeah,
Sure.
but how did everything started and now?
Oh, sure. So, should I
Yeah,
introduce
yeah,
myself
yeah,
first,
yeah,
like
sure.
to the? No. So, first of all, to your viewers out there, my name is Jonathan Song. I'm the global director for Plaza Premium Group for business development for Plaza Premium Group. So, what is Plaza Premium Group? Like, we are a company that has been started 25 years ago. We started our first operations in Hong Kong. We are a global airport hospitality company. Many of you, actually, especially those
Yeah.
in Hong Kong, will know us as Plaza Premium Lounge. That is our first lounge concept. So that's where we started off. So a Plaza Premium Lounge. So, but before I talk about the detailed
Yeah,
Plaza
yeah,
Premium
no.
Lounge, let me share with you a little bit of the origin.
Yeah.
So actually, this company is my family's company. My father actually started the company over almost 25 years ago. And 25 years ago, there was no such thing as what we call today an independent airport lounge. So in the past, when you think about travel,
Yes.
lounges are only for first class or business class people, right? So you have to be first class, business class to enter into an airline lounge. So what my father did 25 years ago, he used to be working in the finance industry
Yeah.
back in the day. And he used to be enjoying all the perks of travel. Again, he traveled business class. He
Yes.
has lounges. He has car, limousine. He has everything. All those perks. But when he quit his job in the finance industry, he immediately lost all those perks. He's like,
Yeah.
so he no longer flew business class. He flew economy class. But so he no longer had the status to go and enter into the business class lounges in the airline business class lounges. So he felt like, wait a minute, that's not right. It's not.
Yeah.
I can still make money. Why can't I go into a airline lounge? That doesn't make sense. Then he had a eureka moment. He's like, wait a minute, eureka. If you look into a full board of the plane,
Yeah.
20% of the plane is first class, business class,
20% only.
and only 20%. But 80% is economy class. Are you telling me that out of the 80%, there are no one that is willing to pay some monies to enter into a lounge to enjoy the space? So he proved this concept and said, hey, actually, there are people out there who are going to pay money out of their pocket to enjoy lounge services. So that's what they did, the first one in Hong Kong. So that's why we come up with the first Plaza Premium Lounge.
Plaza Premium Lounge, right?
That's
No, I
right.
think what I understand in my point of view also, you guys try to tap into the market that actually that time 25 years ago, right?
Yes,
that was
correct.
that was a seen a future, and now getting back to this time is not only about the what you guys provided is. The service also is very important. You always talk about service is very important in our
100%.
industry. It's F&B, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like we're in a similar industry, actually, if not the same.
Yeah.
But the only difference is that we're located not in downtown, but we're located in the airport. Airport. People in the past like always think of airports just like a transportation hub. You go there just to fly from point A to point B. But especially over the past few years, it's no longer just about being flying from one airport to another. It's all about an experience. Everyone's kind of putting more emphasis on it. I mean, think about it. Hong Kong International Airport. Look at all the changes that they're doing. I'm sure you flew quite recently.
Yeah.
Look at all the great renovation that
Yeah.
they're doing. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Look at Singapore, Changi International Airport. Butterfly Gardens, cinemas,
It's insane,
waterfall.
man. Insane, yeah.
I know. So like, you must ask yourself like, hey, what are these guys doing? Why are they doing this? Well, it's very simple and very clear. It's become so important and apparent that it's important to have a strong airport, because if you're a strong airport, your airport in a way kind of acts like an economic driver of the country or the city to be able to attract customers, especially if you are a transit hub. So Hong Kong is a transit hub.
Transit hub.
Yeah, so Hong Kong is a transit hub. Singapore is a transit hub. So think of it this way. That's what sometimes I kind of try to tell people. Think of if you're trying to fly between Sydney to fly to London. How many in the past maybe there's only one way to get to Sydney to London, but now think of it this way: people from Sydney to London, they can fly 6 different airlines. They have so many choices to fly just to go from Sydney to London. They can go via Hong Kong, via Bangkok, via Singapore, via Japan, via the Middle East in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, via Istanbul, you name it. There's all so many different. So nowadays, airlines are thinking, and also are like they cannot just compete on price. Price is only one factor.
Yeah, one factor.
They have to compete on the non-price sensitive kind of experiences, and that's where the airport comes in. So this is where this is why a lot of airports try to compete with each other to make sure that they have good experiences, and we're just one of the many partners to be able to help and support the airports to make it a more attractive proposition for guests to travel into that airport respectively.
I think the first time I found out about from you actually how many, there's a number before COVID.
Yeah.
Every year, how many people actually come from through
yeah.
there?
So actually, prior to COVID, definitely, at our peak at one point, we were taking care of around 26 million guests a year.
In Hong Kong.
All 26 million all over the world.
All over
I mean,
the world.
because like we have multiple stations all over. So
Yeah.
we operate in today now we operate in almost over 80 international
yeah.
airports with around over 280 outlets worldwide. So we have expanded quite widely, but not just in lounges, but in other services all across the airport vertical.
Yeah. No, but I was gonna ask how many people actually use Hong Kong airport every year before COVID? That was like 70 million.
Yeah,
Was that last time?
it was as high as if I'm not mistaken, like around 75 million.
Yeah.
It was at its peak around 75 million, around that figure, or 78 million, and that was like its peak, and it was going to continue growing. Like, I mean, prior to COVID in 2019, but unfortunately because of COVID, I think the whole aviation industry as a whole, I mean, particularly in Hong Kong, dropped quite drastically. So I think the traffic at one point dropped to almost dropped by almost 98%, if not 97%.
That time because of COVID, right?
Yeah, I mean, like number one, COVID, and then there was of course strict quarantines. You had to have your injections before you come in, so it was too cumbersome for anyone to travel. So, and I think in this part of the world, especially in more East Asia or Asia Pacific, or maybe particularly Hong Kong and in China, we were a little bit stricter in terms of the COVID control.
Yeah.
So that's why we only recently, for example, only opened up our borders around the March of 2023.
Yeah.
COVID was 2020, early 2020.
Yeah.
That's almost 3 years. So you can understand where the gap was a little bit. Yeah.
Man, that was a huge jump from 98. Now I hope and I believe things have changed and we kind of getting normal as you see a lot of travel airline company actually giving away free tickets to come to Hong Kong.
Yeah, I even applied for the lucky draw, but I haven't gotten anything. I think honestly, like I don't know, maybe I'm not lucky enough, or I wasn't.
I haven't met anyone who actually won.
Well, who knows? Maybe tomorrow we'll be lucky.
Tomorrow we'll be lucky. Now, actually, I want to go back.
Yeah, sure.
To do your. I mean, I know you're young, but more on the younger side of you when you were studying, and I heard stories that from Robin Dai and people like you used to when you holidays you come back Hong Kong and you actually help your family business
Correct.
in the airport. Like that's true, right?
That's 100%. Those are just made up stories. I have the battle scars. So I'm just kidding. No, so like because like growing up we're a family business, and I would also like to tell people that we're a business family. Yeah. So like how for us, like we talk about business all the time. Ever since I was young, from when I was young till like even at high school time, at the dinner table we're always talking about business, always looking about opportunities. Everything is just about ideas that we can use to apply for our business. So, growing up, that was always the discussions on the dinner
Yeah.
table. But of course, during summers, as I think I still recall, like at the age I think it was 15 or 16, I would every summer would spend at least 1 or 2 months inside the Hong Kong International Airport. So I would have multiple occupations. I was
Okay, let me stop. So summer
Yeah.
holidays, your peers, your friends will go for summer holidays and they're
Yeah,
traveling,
so-
you know, doing cool stuff, and you have to come back.
I guess I had to pay my dues. You know, my father sometimes, my parents always joke. They're like, "Hey, you know what? We need ROI on you. We spent so much money on you. Return on investment. You gotta pay it back." So, at the age of 15, 16,
Yeah.
while friends are going on holidays for ski trips, going
Yeah.
to like all this, I was in the airport, and I was working at multiple jobs. I was working at the front desk, you know, taking care of the guests, swiping them in as they come through.
Yeah.
I was working as an electrician. I was working in the kitchen peeling potatoes. I was also working in the IT department. I was also working in the logistics department. So, like for example, logistics department. Think of it like this. Um, you know, like in Hong Kong, for example, like let's just say like we take care of around, let's say, 4,000 guests a
Yeah.
day. Can you imagine? I have to push a trolley cart of 4,000 cans of Coca-Cola per day. So the logistics of it is immense. You know, some people when they hear this, they're like, "Oh my gosh, such manual labor. You know, it's so
Yeah.
tough. What are you doing? You're at age of 16, or you should be enjoying yourself." But I think for myself, maybe you had a similar experience, and of course, because you've been doing the hospitality since young. But you gain an appreciation of the whole hospitality. You don't take things for granted. Like
Yeah.
everything that you have in your bar or in your restaurant comes from somewhere. So you actually have a full understanding, a full spectrum of all the whole business, and then you don't take things for granted at all. So then you really gain a better understanding, and you become more humble when you think about business. It's not just like, oh yeah, I expect the champagne to be here, I expect the wine to be here. No, you know that there was a process. There's a lot of works that has been done behind the scenes, and
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of it, and that keeps us very excited. You know, to develop when I'm young.
So I think what your parents want you to learn about the basic requirement to work in
100%.
F&B, and more experience that actually how people work within the company.
Of course.
And so you can, when you grow up, like right now, you looking after the family business.
Yeah, so like I've had to, you know, you just grind it out a little bit, but it's actually good. Like when you're young, you're like a blank slate. You'll do anything.
Yeah.
I was so fine. Like, you know, age 16, 17, 18, before even college, I'm like, you know, whatever. Just dump me through the deep ends, and I'll learn whatever needs to be done. So I did that, but I had a better. I did this, but mainly in Hong Kong. But actually, during college or after college was when it got even more interesting. So it kind of developed from there after I got a chance to do like a rotational program with all the different parts of operations. Yeah.
So in terms of your education, you also study in hospitality?
Oh no, actually not all.
Business.
So funny enough, I have no hospitality educational experience at all. I think hospitality just came natural.
Yeah.
Because of I think hospitality is not something that you actually learn in school, to be very honest with you.
But people go to school, very expensive schools.
I mean, that's great. I mean, I don't disregard them. They're great schools. It's 100%. But I think hospitality is about your mindset and the culture and your upbringing. That's hospitality. Because at the end of the day, you're dealing with people. So you need to know how to, like, you know, as long as you're kind-hearted and you have a right mindset, I think that's hospitality. You know, like you invite people over to your house for dinners. You know, treat people for lunch. You're always wanting to give. And if you have that kind of mindset, it will translate from the personal space into your workplace. That's hospitality.
Yeah, I'm so happy that I'm waiting for the invite from you for lunch. Actually.
Oh yeah, so my cooking isn't so good, so you have to wait for a few times. You know, I'll be preparing my home cooked food.
But from very younger age,
Yes.
that you already have that mindset that you wanted to do, and help your family business, or you have some sort of different mindset, because as a parents myself,
Yeah, of course.
we have our own goal for our kids. You know, we want them to be something that probably they don't want to be, right? But how do you have this same
No,
goal that your parents-
I understand what you mean, because sometimes, like, you're saying that, oh, people, like the parents sometimes put their expectations of their
Like,
missed expectations
Yeah.
of what they didn't get to do,
Yeah.
and they put it onto their kid, and they put the pressure and like, okay,
So true.
you're gonna do what I didn't do. You're gonna get that PhD. You're gonna become that. Well, I was quite fortunate. So my parents actually were, what they felt was important is that as long as you get a good education, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So, it's your choice. Whether you want to join or not, that's completely your choice. So, in fact, my first job wasn't actually in the family business at all.
Oh, you work somewhere else?
I worked somewhere else, 100%. So, like, I actually was working in, like, other hospitality things, just over all through, like, summer jobs in the college first. So, like, I was working in Shangri-La as a concierge, bellboy, reception, VIP rooms, and so forth. And then after college, my first job was actually in a startup company. I was working for an internet startup company in Beijing. So I actually went to Beijing for my first job for 1 year.
Wow.
And it was a mobile game publishing company. So I was there learning how to, launch out the likes of Angry Birds in mainland China. So I was into that kind of like area. I just wanted to try something completely new. I was in the tech scene. I was in the, I wanted
Did
to
you
get in the heart
enjoy
of
that
things.
part of life, or you just?
I enjoyed the work very much. It's pretty cool. But the startup scene was a lot of grinding, and it's great. But at the end of the day, I was looking at, I had to think about the prospects of where I want to be. And then when it just so happened to be on that same year, like after that first year I did my first job, my parents and the company secured a very big business in Hong Kong, which actually acted as the catalyst for me to join, and that was the Cathay Pacific. They opened up the new lounge called the Bridge, and it was the first one that they're gonna do, like a major big renovation. And immediately they're like, hey, this is a great learning opportunity. You should come in and join the business, and get your hands dirty and try to learn everything from A to Z. So that was my first foray. So I quit my job in Beijing, and I said, you know what, this is the best way for me to learn. Why don't I start young and go straight into it?
When was it? Which year?
It was in the year of 2014, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, in 2014. So that's my first foray. But then after those, like after I did that, I mean, you have to do what was super interesting. I mean, sometimes like when you do some jobs with outside, you don't get that much exposure because you're sometimes limited. Even if you join some other hospitality companies, you maybe like, oh, you only deal with the customer service end. You only deal with the kitchen end. From when I joined, you have to take care of everything. You have to be both, the person that does the construction, the project management, the kitchen, the customer service, the food, the F&B, like everything, the sales and marketing, the finance, the HR, you name it, A to Z. So you actually learn how to run a business as a whole. So that got me really interested. And I think after that experience, I kind of got the bug, and I was like, I need to actually continue this. I want to try and see where this takes me.
Yeah,
further.
no. First time when we discussed about one of the projects that didn't happen together with us.
Yeah.
I realized that how many hours you work, because you always send a message like 3 a.m. and then when we send email and you reply me like an 8 a.m. I was like, what, this guy never sleep? Right?
I still sleep. I still don't sleep. I still don't sleep. No, because I mean, like once you get the bug, like you get addicted to it. You just want to continue, and it also helps because a lot of our businesses is not just based out of Hong Kong. So I said like we operate in 80 airports. So like in terms of continent wise, like we operate in Asia Pacific, we operate in Middle East, in Europe, in the Americas, the Indian subcontinent, and so forth. Actually, every continent except for Antarctica is where we operate in.
Antarctica doesn't have an airport, I guess.
No, not yet. I think so. Opportunity. Yeah. So certainly there's multiple time zones that we have to achieve. So like you kind of get used to it. I'm always on my phone half the time, but you get to enjoy it. Like, you live and breathe the business. Yeah.
And now hot topics.
Yeah, please.
How do you think about work-life balance?
Oh my gosh.
Hot topics.
Hot topic. Well, no. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned this word because like that's the buzzword that you always hear. I mean, I know I'm as a I'm supposed to be the younger generation. Like I'm supposed to adhere to this and like work-life balance. It's great, but I think at the end of the day, like I'm very practical. I mean, yes, work-life balance is great, but you need to put food on the plate. You know, work is like things don't come so easily on a silver platter for you. We need to work. So like, I mean, I want to kind of translate this into maybe a conversation that we had earlier on before. Like in Hong Kong, I mean, not just Hong Kong, but this is a global problem.
Global problem, yes.
After COVID, there was some phenomenon that happened. We didn't. It was at first during COVID. It was a demand problem. There was not enough customers coming into our lounges or any of our airport hospitality facilities worldwide. But now COVID was a little over. Now what's the problem? It's not demand. It's supply. It's labor shortage supply. There's none of it. I'm like, a lot of those people who traditionally worked in the airport, or I mean in hospitality, let's just say, I'm sure that
even for us,
same thing.
Same
Yeah,
situation.
like they don't want to come over, and then when a lot of times we ask all those previous employees or those candidates, when we tell them about the work nature, they say, "Oh, is there work-life balance? Like, you know, I only want to work on this hour to this shift, part-time only. You know, do you allow me for hybrid working?" I mean, it's great, and I understand. But when you're working in hospitality, there's only so much you can do. When you can't do hybrid working when you're in hospitality, you have to be in front of the customer and guest. So it was a little challenging. I'm sure in Hong Kong it's exactly the same thing. I mean, I'm not sure about your business, Gagan, in your industry.
For our industry as well, 3 years back, there was a lot of people that were looking for job, and we have a less demand. Now it's like a more demand, less supply.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's changed because of people stay at home and they realize, okay, you know what? I can actually, I don't have to work. I can actually survive. So why do I have to put too many hours? But it's a different mentality that we talk is what you want to achieve and where do you want to go. But definitely, I also believe in work-life balance. But I don't know yet because we're going to this one as a kind of we know as you mentioned, probably let's say last generation, they know better than us. They focus on probably work because that's a different generation. Now in this time we kind of understand love or work-life balance, but I still don't know how.
I'm still figuring it out today. So if you have the answer, please please let us know. But you know, it's important there. But I think it's I mean, like for our industry, I think this is ever more important. Like, maybe this is like I'm not sure it's the right topic to talk about, but sometimes like we have to reinvent ourselves, and maybe this is the new world that we live in. So some things that we've done as a company, this is not just Hong Kong, but just in general, we've had to kind of change ourselves. Like, you know, if a business of ours relies too much on labor supply, if we can't change the labor supply because of external factors, we have to change ourselves. So in some cases, we innovated. So what we did was that we automated things as much as possible.
Oh, that's another second topic I want to talk to you.
So like instead of like, you know, traditionally I would hire like just say to run a lounge maybe 30 people. Now with some technology and innovation that we're exploring, we can run that same operations with the same number of guests now with 20 people. So like we save ourselves like almost 1/3. Simply by employing technology. So give you an example of technology. So instead of having like so many check-in agents inside the lounge, for example, we would have people who have a self-check-in kiosk. So you just need one person, or a self-check-in kiosk and planning to have lounge e-gates over there. So then people can come in and out anytime they want. They can actually order their own food. If they don't need to actually have so much like manual labor work being done. So, I mean, like we've changed the behavior. An example, like we started to actually, trying to change the behavior of some customers. Like after they finish their meal, we get them to put it back into like a tray where they put it where they can clear it. They don't just leave it onto the table and then having one of the waiters or the F&B attendants to go clear the thing. So it's like small things like this, but they add up in a bigger scale.
But the thing is, me and one of our very close friend Andre, shout out to Andre, he's gonna listen. He told me that in the future AI gonna kind of replace most of the job, but hospitality is something that they can't replace.
You cannot replace a human touch at the end of the day with an AI. I mean, yes, you can do a customer service help desk. That's fine. You can, but
Self check-in place
yeah.
you can, but
Is the AI gonna? Can you eat an AI? No, food is food. Yeah, so like that, there are. So I think like sometimes that people always think, oh, AI is gonna take over, but I think we have to think twice. Like actually, AI can actually help us, but we just have to find the right placement for it and make it like synergize together with our hospitality industry as a whole.
and do you think that AI will kind of take a job for the people who work for numbers? Like right now, even the Microsoft and this the Photoshop, you can just put their stuff and like will automatically create or maybe calculate. Do you think
Yeah.
that's a chance?
Yes, there's certainly a chance, but I like to look at things on the bright side. So how I see it is that there's today. I mean, even in our group, I mean, just like any business or hospitality business, there's a lot of inefficiencies sometimes when you just purely rely on manual work, which are done by humans like accountants and so forth. There's always something that they're going to miss. So instead, or customer services agents and so forth. So instead, we should use this. I 100% believe that as a hospitality industry, we can use AI to actually help us. So something that we're exploring. So just to give you an example, in the past we have our customer service help desk, right? Then anyone that has inquiries, they will call this help desk, and there's an agent that will answer.
Yeah.
But it can't scale up. Can you imagine? I have, I just said remember we have a few million people coming through our facilities. Just 10% of that, and imagine everyone's making a phone call. How many customer service agents can I hire 24/7 all around the world? But if you can actually manage to get an AI, and that's something that we're exploring on the background, a virtual AI that can actually be able to answer all the inquiries, you can make it more efficient, and I can have our staff be more focused on customer facing activities and let the grunt work be done by by an AI instead. So there's synergies there. I mean, we haven't perfected it yet, but I like to see it on the bright side.
So there is but my question is do you think it's gonna replace those places that we need let's say we need a finance team? Do you think we're gonna need a finance team in 10 years?
I have to be careful. I don't want to say it. But no. I mean, yeah, certainly. But like I said, maybe they'll help to do the if they'll make things more efficient. So certainly the inefficient works that can be done by AIs. But and let the analysis, let the people who are actually doing the analysis, let that be human. But the grinding of the figures, building a model, that can be done by AI. You don't need to waste time. So what used to take us maybe 10 days, for a financial analyst, they can do maybe in 2 days because they have AI to back it up. So I mean, it's things like this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that's you really put it very nicely. So where do you get this very positive energy? I always talk about people in our podcast, the positive energy, because you look at you when you talk about this. What you do, and you always very bright. You're like, we're gonna do it. And then what is your lifestyle? You don't drink. You drink a lot of water, so you drink a lot of water.
I thought you said do I not drink? I mean we met in your bar, so I think I definitely drink.
so is this a lot of what do you do to get an energy that you always ready and something that we can learn?
Oh no, sure. I mean, always just have a positive mindset. That's always very important. It's very important to always have positive mindset at all times, because you start thinking all these negative thoughts, it will just bring you down. You just gotta do it. Just gotta keep rolling. You wake up in bed and just wake up to yourself and say, hey, what's driving me? For me, when I wake up,
what's your a normal day schedule?
Oh, okay, normal day schedule. I wake up, go to work near the airport because that's where our office is. I certainly have several meetings already talking about, I get my department to give us a meeting brief about all what's going on in different countries. Then I go into probably finance meetings. I get a lot of meetings just in general. Then sometimes I talk to clients. At times I then walk the shop floor within the Hong Kong International Airport. And then a lot of it is just meetings that we do and a lot of brainstorming sessions, because we have to think about the strategy in the future. But what I was trying to kind of highlight is what kind of motivate. You have to have something that motivates you
Yeah.
when you wake up. So for me, what motivates me is, it's not money. Money is one thing. Anyone can get money, but it's having the opportunity to be able to shape how the industry is, and you're making a difference, and you're setting a legacy. That's what actually motivates me. The fact that, hey, what I do is gonna be affecting people, and they're gonna be enjoying, and it brings smiles to people's faces. Like, they enjoy it, they thank you for it. I mean, that is something that money can't buy, and you just feel like, wow, I really made a difference.
Like
That's something important.
Amount of people that get a job in
Yeah.
Plaza Premium. If you count now, that's you guys provided a lot of job. And then whoever I meet 2-3 people who used to
Yeah.
work with, like, they really talk about personally, like, they know you, and then they talk about the company. And we just talk about it. One of sir actually who worked with you guys for
Yeah.
25 years, and his children's also going to work with you guys. And that's this insane that how
Yeah.
how much people have trust on your guys' company. This you can see that, like,
Yeah,
that's,
of course. No, like, for us, like, we're we're a family business family, but at the same time, we treat those who've been working closely alongside with us just like family. Family slowly grows. Family doesn't mean that just because of your blood.
Yeah.
Family is because you go through similar experiences. Like, they're our family. Our colleagues are our family. We see it as an extended family. I mean, I like to kind of emphasize, like, for our group, Plaza Premium Group, we have, like, our core values. So I'll share with them, like, let's make it easier. It's called TRIP. TRIP. Trust, respect, integrity, and pride. These are the kind of four trip. I mean, if we're going on the trip,
Yeah.
right, it makes it easier. Good acronyms. But it's very important that all of us kind of follow this, and that's how the mindset that we follow whenever we do our business or we do our daily life, and it extends across. The moment that you just have all these 4 elements in place, everything else will follow. So it's quite important for us, like, as a family business, as we continue to expand and grow.
yeah. But okay, getting back to you. So your schedule. So you wake up, go to work, and that's it. There's nothing in between lunch. You go swim,
sorry, okay.
gym.
I wish I used to, like, luckily it's only a face view, like, you're not going down view, man. So I used to be a lot fitter back in the day.
You're fit.
Fitter. I used to do a lot of, like, Oxfam Trail Walker events, So I did it 4 years in a row back in the day, like, so hiking 100 km.
Yes.
Those events, but I kind of stopped it now because I was just getting a little busier and maybe lazier. But I used to work out a little, like, at least 3 times a week back in the day. So, but I think it's important, in this case now, drawing back to work-life balance.
Yeah.
I think it's quite important, not just for your fitness, but also for your mental health, to at least find some, like, outlet to kind of balance it out. So yeah.
It's very important. I always tell our staff that work, yes, we want to work, we have fun, and we party is very different, very normal. But we need to find something that we do out of work. And then this is why I see some of the people work in the industry, they're here 7 days a week, even on their day off.
Yeah.
Like, one of our staff, like, I was telling him yesterday, I was so scared of you. Because you're here on your day off, you're here on your work, like, you need to find a life. Because why I use the word scared, because if you push so much on something, like, if you see it's gonna break one time.
So you're gonna burn out.
Yeah.
I get it. You get I get your point.
So we definitely need to find something out of our profession to kind of like interact and
for sure.
For your
I mean, like, for yourself, like, what was that? What was that?
I always go to I love hiking.
Oh, I love hiking.
I love hiking.
Yeah, I think I saw a few of your photos of hiking.
I love hiking.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I do a lot of martial kind of stuff. Last year, actually, I did 4 months for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I really wanted to continue.
Oh, that's super. Yeah, that's super cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I really loved it. And I do like a 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
But then we opening our 2 venues.
Of course,
we got busier. And I always tell my professor that we're gonna come. And I was like, now it's still now. But now is I do swimming and a little bit of running.
Wow, you do everything actually.
Morning time.
Yeah, that's
because we don't have to come very early. So far.
Of course,
if you choose not to,
Yeah.
because we finish late. But I tend to wake up early. If I normally nowadays the drinking also stopped a lot.
Yeah.
People are laughing at them.
Wait,
What?
you work in a bar, right? Just wanted to make sure.
No, it's at
Yeah.
least not
Nah,
not
I-
kind of.
I got
like,
you.
yeah.
I got you.
And when I tell people like we can kind of hold and like can be sober for a week, a month. People are like, what? But you work in a bar, you taste. It's very different tasting
Tasting and drinking.
and,
yeah,
and
yeah,
drinking
it's
are
different.
two
It's
different things. Like
Completely.
I mean, I don't know for some people with tasting also they can get the drink, but for me,
100%.
when I'm tasting that I'm totally is not drinking, but when I'm drinking, that's drinking.
I haven't seen that side of you just yet, you
It's
know.
totally
But
different.
we'll see one day.
So it's very moderate now. I would say.
Good.
I wouldn't believe, and I wouldn't say like people. If you work in F&B, that you have to drink, but you can drink sometimes. It's not-
Okay, that's
we're not
good.
promoting alcohol, but yeah.
No problem. No
we have a
problem.
bar
there.
and I will promoting alcohol.
Yeah. No problem. No, as like personal base. Sorry, like then I mean like yes, maybe like what I did in the past was you know I go running.
Yeah.
I would join a lot of those trail back in the day like trail
I really
races.
I really wanted to join, man. I really wanted to.
Trail
100
races,
kilometers, right?
25 km to 30 km to 50 km to the 100 kms, and then quite recently because of COVID, like I picked up a really interesting sport,
What's that?
which I actually picked up sailing.
Sailing.
I'm a sailor now, actually. I wouldn't
Did
have
you get
thought.
your license?
I have my license. I have my PVOC license, level 2, the exam. Yeah, I did that. So I picked it up because like during COVID, you couldn't actually go anywhere. You can't go to the gyms.
Yeah.
Everything is kind of closed, and I was like, okay, what can you do? So I was quite fortunate that there was some like family friends or uncles that that actually sailed. So I was like, hey, I'll just join together. I picked it up. I was like, wow, this is really fun.
So that's sailing. Okay, just to understand.
yeah, sure,
right?
sure.
So sailing also when you like you sail in
Yes.
a boat, that's a sailing.
Correct.
But I think the sport you're sailing is more like that's that you know I don't know what kind of boat you sail.
Oh no. So we sail those big boats. Well, I think I know what you're referring to. Like in the America's Cup, like they sail those boats that go 100 kilometers an hour. No, that's not. Probably like a maximum maybe like 15, 20 km an hour, but it's actually still pretty fast. So you have to lean out onto the side and together with a group of people. You have to pull a lot of rope. You have to kind of read the winds.
Yeah.
And then it's nice and comfortable. It was a
That's
really
like
fun sport.
that's like a natural sailing. Right? There's no engine or
No
anything.
engine, no engine.
I know one person actually who she told me that that's the only first one,
Yeah.
and you're the second one. That. So how hard is it?
Oh, it's actually it's difficult at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's a lot of fun. You just gotta make the mistakes first, and then it looks silly, fall in the water a few times, and then you'll pick it up straight
And
away.
how much is the sunburn actually? That's something people are worried about a lot.
I used to be fair. This is me post sailing.
No, see, a lot of because you're gonna be like
You're gonna be
hours.
roasted.
Yeah.
You're gonna be roasted underneath the sun for sure.
Does it that the sunscreen work? Because normally people tell me this work, but I for me it never worked.
I don't believe the SPF. You know, like
Yeah.
I've been using 40, 30, 40, 100. It's the same. So
The
you
same,
know
right?
what? I don't know.
So for the SPF company, that's a scam.
I'm not gonna say that. But okay, sure.
That's a scam. So do you have working and then so 7 days a week do you work or do you take off?
No, certainly I work like 5 days a week. But then every now and then on a Saturday, Sunday, like I do sometimes go into the airport to just walk around on the weekends. Or I'm also like I will usually take like maybe a half a day just to kind of focus on planning what's going to happen in the rest of the different networks. Because like maybe sometimes like it's during a weekday it's non-stop. You don't actually get time to reflect, and I think it's so important. Like during the weekends, I get time to reflect and sit down and strategize and plan out what we want to do into the future. Yeah, I wanted to tell you something like which is really cool. So
Yeah.
this is like in the beginning. So like I told you like how when I first started, I started off in like maybe in 2014 over in Hong Kong. But I think what's important, like, and I think this might be relevant to your listeners, is don't be scared of taking chances. I know it's very cliche, but any opportunities, go for it. Especially when you're young, go for it because you just never know. So people sometimes the people will feel like, oh, I'm not qualified enough, I can't do it, so I'm going to hold myself back. But if you continue to hold yourself back, you're never going to get grow. I'll give you an example of how much in the deep end I was thrown. So after my experience in Hong Kong, so they're like, it's great. And my next posting, surprisingly, was in a location that I've never been in. I was based out of Abu Dhabi, in the Middle East.
Yeah.
It was our first operations in the Middle East. We have no one there. They sent myself and a few other colleagues there to take over 3 lounges. And originally it had 400 people that we had to convert into our company. It was an existing lounge, but we had to go there. It was 3 lounges and 1 mini hotel. Suddenly, like someone like me, back then, a 21, 22-year-old kid, going there, having to, take over a business, having to set up a company, deal with HR, deal with their visas, dealing with talking to suppliers, building up a business case, speaking together with the airport, dealing with construction, dealing with project managers, dealing with everything. It was a little wild, and I this whole time, like, I was like, at first I was a little scared. I'm like, oh no, the HQ's in Hong Kong, but you send me to the Middle East, I have no one to back me up.
Yeah.
But I think, like, you get past that fear because you realize that actually it's not that hard. You just gotta do it.
But before you go, do you have like second thought? Is it gonna be too tough? You got nervous, you got scared? Like,
No, I was like, I love this. I guess that's just my personality. I just go straight into the deep end. I'm like, why not? I'm young. I get a chance to learn. I get to be in Abu Dhabi. Why not? So I lived there literally for 6 months to build a business.
And within those 6 months, do you get this time that also you got like, oh my god, this is overwhelming, it's too much, like probably like kind of breakdown that happened to you?
Not so much. It was overwhelming a little bit because, like, once again, I'm a 21, 22-year-old kid. I'm talking to the CEO or the C-suite, the director grades of these airport groups. It's not just about like the people, but the culture is different. I mean, like, you're dealing together with people from different cultures, especially in the UAE. Like, there are different, people from different ethnicities and so on, and different ways of working in a business. But I think that's the beauty of it. You won't grow until you try and you get that exposure. So as much as I'm so glad that I got that exposure and I was able to dive deep from that end, respectively.
Yeah. But you manage it, and then you did it pretty well. And
I think we did it. I think we did it pretty well. It was our first Middle East operations that we did in Abu Dhabi, so it was very nice. Like, I remember, like, we had around 400 colleagues, but like almost 200 of them are from the Philippines, for example, and then we'd have to kind of we'd have to sit down and interview each one of them, and then say, if it's a bartender, be if they're working for the front desk, housekeeping, we have to make sure that the uniform is there, make sure that accommodation is done. There were so many tick boxes that we had to do just to make sure that we had a live operations, and so on and so forth.
No, I think when you just telling me about this stuff and when you're just saying colleagues, that also I realized that you don't call them staff.
Oh no, of course. That's the time. I mean, like, it's I find it sometimes a little cold.
Yeah.
It's not
That's very nice of you.
They work together. They it's just like you're fighting a war, fighting a battle. They're the ones in the front line, shoulder to shoulder, and you gotta fight together. The moment you start thinking that, these people are like my staff, that's not right. No, we're in it together. We're in a fight together. I mean, that's what made us quite unique, because we're a very close community, and we're gonna do things together like a family, and that's why we're a family business, and that's how we approach our things, approach our work.
If you wanted to get inspired, where do you want to look at it? Where do you go? Is that in a specific place? I mean, you don't have to mention the company, and that's not like more like places, like more like.
No, I think what inspires, like what's really good is just like to keep an open mind and just talk to people. So I was quite inspired when I quite recently in the past years or so, other than just staying in the hospitality business, which is interesting, and within the aviations, I started looking into the tech sector. So tech sectors, which are like startup companies. So there are a lot of startup companies, be it in Hong Kong and other parts of the world, where there are actually some startup companies which are doing some really interesting, innovative technology projects. which could somehow relate back to our business as
Yeah.
a whole. So I sometimes go there and I talk together with the people who are doing those tech startups, like CEOs of those respective companies, and see like and try to understand like what motivates them and also like what they're working on, and you get to like have a different perspective. I think that's what kind of inspires me sometimes. It's just to see how things are done elsewhere, because it's very easy to kind of get stuck in your industry sometimes.
Yeah.
But the moment that you kind of expose yourself to others, I think it's much better.
Like people always say like we and you are like a future of the like a successful company that your family have. You also need sometime a mentorship. People always say you need to have a mentor when you go there. You have to have like someone who can give you advice and you can filter down advice and stuff. Do you have any mentor? And
Oh yes, certainly. I mean, like, of course, the first of all, the key mentor, of course, is the parents. I
Yeah.
mean, they will always be the mentors, like going from left to right. But even within like the group, the company, there are some executives within the company who are also my mentors as well. They've been doing this for the past 20 years, have a wealth of experience. I also refer to them, but also outside, I do talk to a lot of other executives or people who are different backgrounds, and they share their different life experiences of how they run their companies, kind of challenges that they face. It may be different industries, but after a while you start to realize it's somewhat similar in a way. Like growing from a mid-sized company to a bigger company, there's growing pains. Everyone has things to share, so that's really interesting.
do you ask them to come and meet you? Because I just want to understand from in my perspective and in my line of work also.
Yeah.
I wanted to see new people. I want to talk to people. I want to talk
course.
to CEOs, and I want to know actually what they think about F&B or anything. It doesn't have to be F&B or whatever. Do you invite them or you talk to them? You find them on like how do you reach
I mean,
out to them?
you reached out. I'm on LinkedIn or sometimes like in conferences, you meet together one or two people that you find interesting. You say and just reach out. Like you just don't have a fear, because like don't feel that you're not good enough to reach out to these people. They're just so high up. No,
That's-
actually,
that's very
you
important, yeah.
kind of have to kind of get past that fear barrier and just go for it. Just go, just do it. Yes, you might be talking to 10 people. Out of that 10, maybe one will succeed. 9 of them won't. So go for it. So what? You have nothing to lose. Go for it. But that's why you just have to be like a go-getter in this case. So, and also just be a friendly person. Don't be I don't know, just don't be a dick. Obviously, don't be a dick when you talk to people. That's it. People are human. And regardless if you're a CEO or you're whatever, like just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
People are human.
So when what you're saying is like if you wanted to reach out to someone, not everyone will say yes, because since they are in top position, probably they're very busy with their scheduling and stuff. But try your best, and probably is a chance they're gonna say yes, and you can meet them, right?
Yeah, just reach out, and you never know what will come out of it. And you'll meet people from different walks of life. You'll learn. Everyone has something to share. Everyone has a story at the end of the day.
Everyone has a story, and everyone's story doesn't mean that we can it has to relate to us, but it's definitely kind of give us a different perspective about their life, right?
100%. 100%.
What's the future plan for you now?
What's the future plan for me personally, or your future?
Overall.
Kids, marriage.
Okay.
Shoot, I better not.
No,
join
I'm not
that.
kidding.
I haven't even told my parents on this one. I haven't told my family and my friends.
I have a friend actually who doesn't even who doesn't want to get married, doesn't want to have kids.
Okay.
So I mean, not that plans. Like what's your let's say what do you want to, what's your goal now? Because you I'm sure you've been busy. You guys been opening a lot of
Sure. I mean, like something that we've been trying to do. So like where I started the conversation, we focus on just doing airport lounges, right? So of course, what we want to do is to build a network of airport lounges all over the world. So expand that. That's number one, with our own brand. But we also want to help white label lounges too. So what do I mean by white label? We do it today. So we help airlines, alliances, and financial institutions actually build lounges for them and develop it for them as well.
Oh, more like consultant?
Not a consultant in some cases. In some cases we invest, in some cases we operate. So a lot of people don't realize it, but in the background, that's us. So I'll give you some names. We operate Cathay Pacific lounges in some airports around the world.
Oh.
We operate some lounges for Star Alliance, which is an alliance. We operate some financial institution lounges in different airports around the world as well.
It's always within the airport.
All within the airport. Our space has always been the airport. But we've also expanded diversification for the future. We want to also go into a hotel business. So now we have 16 hotels in our portfolio. When I say hotels, I'm not talking about the Sheratons, the Carltons, okay? So, but we're more like in-terminal airport hotels. The smallest one that we have is 30 hotel rooms, and the largest one we have is around 280 hotel rooms, but they're all within the airport terminal building. That's the key. And it's not like necessarily staying on an overnight. It's staying on those hourly blocks, maybe 6 hours, 9 hours, 3 hours per se. So that's what we want to do. And then we also want to expand to other businesses like airport concierge, meet and greet, and so forth. So quite recently in Hong Kong, for those who are visiting Hong Kong International Airport, you'll notice that a lot of people are, those people that drive the buggies, the golf carts.
Yeah.
That's us now.
Oh.
That's our company. So now we want to expand into doing other hospitality services. So can you imagine, you can go to a lounge. After you visit the lounge, you can get a golf cart that goes to your gate. I mean, that's an end-to-end. And we're not only doing that in Hong Kong, but in other airports around the world. And then, but what we want to ultimately do, really, is to actually develop our loyalty member base. So we've recently launched a program called Smart Traveler, which is our loyalty program.
Yep.
And with that, it acts as a travel rewards point system, where you can use to visit any of our facilities worldwide. So it uses as a single, I wouldn't like to say currency, but it acts like a points currency in a way where we can use in different airports around the world and visit any lounges, any airport hotels, any like airport meet and greet services that you want. And who knows, we are also able to do that and expand it to travel retail. We can travel to car parks, anything within the airport space. So all that is quite interesting to be able to create something like really an ecosystem.
Yeah.
We want to create an ecosystem for our members at the end of the day.
Ecosystem is very important.
Yeah.
What Apple does is
Apple, Amazon is that. But of course, we're a small mini Amazon. We're slowly learning from the best, actually.
Man, thank you very much.
Of course.
I really think that the things we just talk and definitely is very inspiring for me.
Yeah.
And the people who are gonna listen and then the to get and go kind of energy that you have. Hopefully, we all get that. And good chat, man. Thank you very much. But the very important part that
sure.
I'll wait for my invitation for dinner or lunch.
my cooking. Let's wait till my cooking improves a little bit more. Oh, just one.
What do you say?
One thing last night. I mean, sorry. Like you just said, like if anything at all that you for those like, who are thinking about entrepreneurship or just like just want to get into the business. One thing that I would like to say, like as a quote, like in my opinion, is it's very important to just go out there, but most importantly, don't fear failure. Okay, what you should do is fail fast but fail cheap. That's very important. So it's okay to make mistakes early, but don't make the mistakes too late and it makes it more expensive for you. So that's why, like, when I say fail fast, fail cheap, do it when you're young. Then you can, you learn from all those mistakes and you grow and you become a better person for it. So altogether. So I just wanted to share that.
Fail fast and fail cheap and follow the trip.
Follow the trip. Oh, I like it. Yeah, nice.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you soon.